Hey, this is Gurds Hundal, and welcome to the Inner Light Project. This show is for anyone who's wanting to lead a happier, healthier, and enlightened life. Create more self-love, inject more joy and abundance into their daily life. Join me for inspiring interviews and spiritual topics so you can shine your inner light. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Inner Light Project. My name is Gurds Hundal and today I want to share with you someone who is helping people to remember who they really are and fully answer their soul's calling. Pamela Dowes is an entrepreneur, trance channeler and soul activation coach who guides her clients through life-changing work. She's the founder of Spirit Calling Membership, an awakening accelerator mastermind, and she believes we can all have a spiritual awakening when we look from within. Pamela, I'm so grateful to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, you're so welcome. You have such a lovely energy. I've been looking forward to our conversation. We're going to have some fun.
Oh, bless you. And so are you. I love our conversation just before we started. I was like, Ooh, ancestors, we're going to have some fun today.
It's Ancestor Day.
Yes.
I had no idea until I had an idea because of my experience, but I had no idea that, that was something that would be brought up. So it's exciting.
It is. It's funny, isn't it, how it all works out? We don't think about it, and the ancestor just comes in and goes, "Hey, this is what you need to know today."
I'm here. Let's play. Let's get to work.
Yeah, I think they want us to play today. So I really want to go back to your journey before you came back home to yourself. What was your life like before you became a soul activation coach?
Oh my gosh, I was a completely different person, and I was just, I share my story so often, Gertz, I share it on so many different podcasts and so many different versions of it because there are so many different ways to describe it. When we have our spiritual awakening journey, I often say when I talk to my clients or friends or I tell my story, we have all these spinning plates around us, right? We have all these pieces of who we are that sort of define the whole picture of our masterpiece of who we are. And when I was just starting to wake up, I was younger. I had children. I was married. I was about to go through one of the largest, most challenging experiences of my life, which was the recession and losing everything that we owned. And, talk about an ego, breaking down the ego. It was all of the things on the plates that were surrounding me, they defined me. They created the story of me. And up until that point, I was a sister, a mother, a daughter, a friend, a creative director, an entrepreneur. I was all of these things. I lived in this zip code. I drove this car, had this house. They're all the things that I thought were important. That it's what we're told. We're to strive to succeed, to have this profession and to have this, that shows us that we've succeeded in our life, that we've done well, that we've achieved. And when you start to have your spiritual awakening journey, which I did, all of those things sort of changed. The importance of them shifted. So each plate sort of got replaced with what was important on it. I grew up Catholic in a very traditional Italian Catholic background, and I was very close with my family. I was an artist and musician, plates, right? Artist, musician, da, 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 da. And I, got married like many people do in a relationship, got married, did the whole thing, let's have children. And I brought my kids into the world, and I say this so many times, you travel through life, you travel through the decades, you start defining who you are, you know more about who you are by the things you have to experience, etc. And I had this huge kind of question about religion. That was really the first thing that came up. It was what do I believe in? Do I believe in this? I don't know that I believe in this, and I'll go along with the motions because that's what everyone's doing, and I'm just I'm not going to be a rule breaker. I'm not going to be that person to kind of create that contrast in my family. But then it just was. I didn't go to church. I didn't do all those things. But then when it was time to get married, we got married in the church. Then when it was time to have a child, it was we baptized them. We did the traditions. We did the things. But then it was, okay, I have to raise these children in a religion. I don't believe in it. I can't do it. So
Mm.
that was what really kind of stopped me from progressing into that and sort of made me look at myself, look at what I believed in, look at, and I didn't know it was resonance, right? I didn't know it was
Wow.
discernment then. I didn't know discernment was even a thing like spiritually. But I was starting to, and I kind of talk about this. I think I'm going to have to write a book about this because it keeps coming up. You know, we are taught and we learn to trust our elders, our peers, trust our teachers, our priests, trust our all of these things around us. Of course, we trust them. That's what we know, and we sit maybe sometimes not comfortably, but for the most part, like feel secure in all those spaces because that's what you know. And as you travel through things, you learn more, you learn different, and when you start the spiritual awakening journey to become who I was to who I am, and I am becoming right now. So it's
Mm.
an active state of being. There is this season of I need to go inside for my trust. I need to start saying, what do I believe in? What do I trust? So my inner knowing is what I
Mm.
trust. And I start to siphon the soul. I start to siphon the inner guidance, the higher self, the soul. And it's really my truths, who I truly am coming through rather than the persona of what was created for me. So that soul activation, that's really literally the last two
Wow.
years. It's a continual expansion on this journey when you decide to walk on it. And every season is perfect. Every season is
Mm.
exactly perfect because it's what you need. And you can't look back in retrospect and see growth until you've traveled, you know? And so it was very different. I was an entrepreneur. I had a marketing and branding firm for a large part of my life. That's what I did for my career
Wow.
from my first company I started in the year 2000.
Oh,
And
wow.
a long time ago. And I've had different versions of that kind of a business.
Wow.
My whole career, I've done different things with that. And last year, I finally exited and sold my marketing and branding company. It took me 6 months
Oh,
to sell it to my business partner, and I moved fully.
congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a big deal. And in January of this year is when I started. Hey, this is my new season of
Mm.
just working in spiritual work and just, understanding how to expand it. It's constantly evolving, just like your spiritual journey. Your work is evolving because you're at the center point of that. So you're continually journeying with it. It's journeying with you. They work in tandem. And, but I, started that version of me working through to where I am now, started listening to the inner knowing, and then started understanding and learning with my spiritual intelligence.
Mm.
So I was learning my spiritual intelligence. I was getting stronger in that training and learning, but I was also starting to turn on and learn my spiritual technology. So those two
Mm.
things were like, I didn't know it at the time. We don't know it at the time. We really don't. And if somebody says that they do, then maybe they had knowings or were immersed in that as a kid or had a family life that was like that, or, they turned on immediately or something. I mean, there's so many different versions of things. But I feel we're in the becoming, remembering ourselves in that journey. You know, we're remembering we have these chakras, we have this pineal gland and third eye, we have the clair senses, we have, we work in union with the universe and our guides, and like we're remembering all of that stuff. And
Mm.
it's a whole new way of being. It's a whole new world. It's a whole new way of living. It's a whole new way of functioning in your work, in your relationships. And if you're a parent and you're parenting, like it's everything. So I was really satiating the desire to learn more, to know more, because that's really in my spiritual community that I launched, I have a resource section. I have a place and space for people to talk and commune and be with one another, because you want to learn. You want to like
Yeah.
share what you just learned with the world. And
Yeah.
then you find out your family doesn't want anything to do with that. And then you learn
Yeah.
not to do that. And then you learn how and who you can do it with. And that's the becoming. That's the understanding. That's the spiritual intelligence. It's all of it.
Yeah.
And you start to go outside of yourself and look at books and go to workshops and watch videos and go to events, and you start to like curate these experiences to learn. And then you start learning how to implement it in your life by living in partnership with the universe, by learning the laws of the universal laws of attraction, by learning who you are, by learning all of the things that are innately a part of who you are. And I did that journey. I did it from 2008 to 2012. I did it really. That's when like the big opening started. And
Mm.
then from 2012 to I'd say 2008 to 2014 is when my marriage ended. And,
Wow.
all these things were changing, like this interest in really receiving and understanding love and knowing there was a higher measure of love available to me just became like this such an important thing to me. And I also started feeling like I had knowings about things. My clair senses were opening up. My claircognizance was opening up. I knew I had knowings about things. I knew my marriage contract was ending. I
Mm.
felt the squeeze that I know now to be a timeline jump, right? I didn't know it then.
Yeah.
But I just had this deep knowing, and it was uncomfortable. It's excruciating actually to
Mm.
know that like it is done. It is done. The contract's closed. Who knew it was contract? And there needs to be a decision that is made. And it was a choice of love or fear. It was a choice of love or fear.
Mm.
Love for the opportunity for whatever exists beyond this decision. Love for myself. Love in knowing that I'm honoring that knowing that I have. Or fear, sitting in a comfortable place, accepting less than, and always living with that, knowing that you've accepted less than. That's
Mm.
the choice of fear. And I couldn't do it. I had to move forward. And through that, which was really scary because I had children and I was afraid of being on my own and all the things that come with leaving a marriage, which is a big, huge thing, just like leaving a business or changing careers or death and like they're all the main things in life, the hardest things in life. And divorce is one of them. And
I was just
when
gonna
I,
say it. I was just gonna
yeah,
say it's like you're leaving a version of you that no longer exists with that person, and it's like, how do I now move forward without that person?
and I don't
What?
even know myself.
Yeah, what's the new
Yeah.
identity, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
don't even know that person, but it's absolutely true. I mean, it's so well said. You're absolutely right. It's like, but I know that that person needs to be seen, needs to be discovered.
Yeah.
And I know that she wants more than
Mm.
what is here right now. And I know it's there for me. You have to
Mm.
trust that. Ooh, I get chills. I'm going through it now. Like, in one way or another, you're constantly going through that. You're constantly going through that, pushing through the fear, that container of fear that can exist. It's a human experience. But making that decision, it opened up all of this. I had no idea any of this was there.
Wow.
None of this was there. Like I had no idea that I would ever be teaching, be leading, be a spiritual leader. I mean, a healer. Really, I had no idea that I would be doing this work, be leaving marketing and branding, and doing this 100% full time. I did have a psychic medium gallery that I was in once, and he said to me, he said, "You're going to have a." You're going to have a website one day. You're going to have a website. It's going to talk all about spirituality. It's going to have all kinds of spirituality on it. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, but you're going to have advertisers on it. Can you like he talked all about it? And I was like at the time I was like, that's nuts. But now I can see that picture forming. Like not now, but since 2020, that picture has started to form. And when I pursued that discovery of the unknown, that discovery of
Mm.
what my future self was, allowing myself to discover it. That's when I started having experiences on the spiritual awakening journey that led me to my healing journey. It led me to doing the spiritual arts, the healing arts, the spiritual healing
Wow.
arts, that allowed me to try Reiki, that allowed me to try
Yeah.
a shamanic soul retrieval, that allowed me to do Akashic record clearing, whatever. I went into these spaces and I dove into them like who can't wait to do them, right? And through that, I healed. I healed trauma. I healed my energy raised, my frequency raised. I had more spiritual intelligence because I understood myself more through these experiences.
Mm.
But I was also raising my frequency and healing my soul body.
Mm.
And I continued to do that. And with guidance, and I was hand held, not picked, hand held to different experiences, which were so perfectly timed as usual. But I got to a point where my clairs were really open. I was seeing, I was hearing, I had deep knowings. I would smell things, I would taste things, and I had this knowing about this retreat center in Costa Rica that had plant medicine. I
Mm.
had this profound, deep knowing, deep, 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 deep knowing that I was going to this place. I heard the story of the man. I had this wah, 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 wah moment. I knew I was going there. I didn't know how I would go there, a single woman, like just me by myself to another country to do this medicine. Like it was like,
Wow.
another scary thing. And I didn't have to figure it out because I proclaimed it as my truth because I had such a deep knowing that it got manifested so quickly that through a series of me saying yes and alignments happening, the right person would get put in front of me at the right time because I said yes to something. And this person, by way of a choice to align with this partnership for work, I met this man. And when we met, I was doing consulting work for his company, but I was working with other people on his team, not him. And I went to this event down in Florida and I walked in the room, this big banquet hall, and he was on the other side of the room. And I walked over to him and I said, "Hi, it's me, Pamela. We haven't met yet. I'm working on your company, blah, 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 blah." And he looked at me and we shook hands and this energy came through my head, through
Ooh.
his head, out our hearts. And this wah, 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 wah
Oh.
happened. I lost my breath. I couldn't look at him and he said, "Do you feel that?" I said, "I do." And there was this spirit made this experience happen. It was a soul remembrance. There was an impactful
Mm.
experience that had to happen at that exact moment in my life. And if it
Yeah.
wasn't him, it would have been some other thing, but it was him. And we discovered each other. We wound up becoming very good friends. And he told me, he said, I, I, I don't normally tell people on a phone call. I don't normally tell people what I'm doing, in my personal life, on like a business call. He goes, but I just feel comfortable with you. And just want you to know that I am going to do ayahuasca right now. I'm just about to leave. So we'll have to schedule our call like in a couple of weeks. And I was like, ayahuasca? I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I said, I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I know I'm going to Rhythmia Life Advancement Center. And he goes, Pamela, I'm going there in the fall. I'm going there in November. And like this other moment happened because no one in my life knew Rhythmia. No one was talking about ayahuasca.
Mm.
I had one person that I knew that did it. And it wasn't something like that was cool or fun. Like everyone was doing it. It wasn't that. It was so profound and so deliberate and important and intentional. We became very good friends. And I kept hearing, he's going to the Claires. He's going to invite you. He's going to invite you. He's going to invite you. And I kept saying, well, if he does, he does. If it's meant to be, it will. And he said to me, Pamela, I'm getting guidance. I'm supposed to invite you. They're closing down the center.
What?
I'm in this group. It's of these spiritual leaders. One of the people in our group's on the board there. They're closing down the center and they're only going to have 40 high conscious people there for this
Wow.
retreat. You're welcome to join. I didn't have to figure it out. I was placed into this space
Yeah.
because I needed to clear karmic threads, karmic energy, karmic trauma. I needed to clear a lot of fear that I had inside of me that
Mm.
needed to be released so that I could move forward with this next chapter of this work that I am to do and implement on the planet, which I just had an initiation session right before our call, which is wild to me. It was like an acceptance of the full mission
Wow.
actually happened this morning. And you can't make this stuff up. It's amazing. It's just amazing. And through that healing, I released all kinds of karmic energy from this life, past lives, from my relationships that were in this life that were connected to things I had done work on already with shamanic retrieval, to I pulled back energy from my two daughters individually, of stuff that transferred to them.
Wow.
And I did so much healing that at the end of the retreat, there was a breath work class. And we did it's like a, Kundalini sort of, and it gets you into this
Yeah.
heightened state. And then this white light shot through my third eye, filled up my whole entire body with love frequency.
Mm.
And I heard your psychic abilities have been enhanced. Everything from this moment forward will be different. And that's what happened. That's what
Mm.
happened. The world shut down. I just continued to connect and say, I want to experience more. If everything's going to be different, and it has been, I want to know and co create together what is next. Let's do this thing. And we did. I worked every morning with the guides. I worked every morning to connect. I kept heightening my frequency. I kept going through past lives and healing them. I was working with a team of really divine, beautiful, feminine beings. Every time they came in, I knew I was going to go through a past life death. I did that many, 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 many times.
Wow.
And every time it released more trauma, my frequency rose. And then that's how the exchange with the Great Council of Light happened. They're a super high frequency collective of divine beings. And
Wow.
there was a transfer of energy. The energy came into me and filled my whole body up. And then from that moment forward, it was a let's get to know each other. And they try to work with the physicality of my three-dimensional body, my intelligence, my language, my form, like everything. And we worked together for probably 2 years. I mean, we're always still working together. So it's been 6 years and, 5.5. But it's a union. It's a remembrance of self. It's me understanding over all these years who I am, how I am part of the council incarnate here. The healing that they told me in 2020 I would do. I didn't start seeing that until last year. It's been a year in July. Like it's really cool. And this is what I say, the becoming, the remembering who you are. And this technology I've been downloading and administering on people and healing, it's going to now change into a cellular physical thing in tandem with the energetic thing. And like instantaneous healing is going to happen. Mass healing is what's next. And there's just, all these things I didn't share with you yet, but the premonitions and visions and downloads that I received from the counselor are what I really started sharing in 2024 and what's really started everything. In 2020, I received a vision, a download in the middle of the night. I heard spirit calling and I wrote the name down. I bought the domain. And over the course of a year, I kept hearing you have to build a portal for humanity. There's going to be a glass ceiling that breaks. People are going to stop in their tracks, not know who and what they believed in. Their whole world was created for them. It's different now. They need a safe place to land, create a community. And that's what I did in January of 2024. So I share monthly messages of what's going on in the world. I share monthly messages with the community that I lead of love, support, and guidance to help people remember that they're powerful creator beings, that they are part of all that is, that they're not small just because they're limited to this physical body, and that they create their reality. And the greatest lesson that the council wants to share is that, but also to raise your frequency, to learn how to raise your frequency, to understand that you have frequency and that your soul is actually the operating system within you. And I was talking to someone recently who was talking about their life and a lot of the therapy that they've done, which is great. Talk therapy is great, but We are not merely bound by this three-dimensional body. We are an energy body, a soul body, ethereal body that's married with it. So if we're going to psychologically create pathways of understanding some of the things that have happened in this life or in our relationship, we need to heal the soul body too, to work in
Yeah.
tandem, because that's who we are. This is where we live, and you can't deny one or the other. And they need to be together. Intelligence, if you want to call it psychology, that's fine. The intelligence is important because it clears the pathway for the mind. Like it makes you understand. But the energetic part of it, and when I say intelligence, I also download wisdom from the council and from other people's guides and from their ancestors. And that's information. Let's just call it information. The information is valuable. It helps
Yeah.
support all of it. They work together. So that's who I am right now.
Wow.
This podcast could launch and I could be somebody different.
Wow, what a journey. And I was listening to pockets of everything that you were saying, but I just want to go back to originally what you said. Like you had to leave an old version of you to come back to yourself. And I have
Yeah.
noticed a lot of healers, a lot of people in the coaching world, um, they go through this, I guess, initiation, I'm going to call it.
Mhm.
Because even myself, like I was a journalist, by the way. I
Yeah.
walked away from a career journalist. I was like, what the
Yes.
hell? To do
Yeah.
the work that I do now. Like, I didn't imagine to do this work like yourself. Like,
Right.
I didn't sign
Never.
up to this. Like, I had a whole plan. Like, this was not the plan, right?
Yeah.
And then, similar with me, 2012 came and my whole life changed. I had a
Mm.
cancer scare, and I just remember walking out the hospital hearing it's time to heal. And I
Wow.
surrendered. Like, I couldn't go back. I didn't know what I was going to do, I didn't know what the plan was. I just had to walk
Wow.
away. Even like yourself, the things that I had didn't have any meaning anymore. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
clothes, the expensive handbags, like I was buying that
Yes.
because I was trying to fill a void. And you'd get
Yeah.
your paycheck and then done, you've spent the money and then it's like, what's next? Like I was
Yeah.
never happy. And
Yeah.
so when I walked out of
That's
the
that's
hospital,
what it was. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Mhm.
And like when I walked out, I remember it's time to heal. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to heal, but I'm going to make that happen. And I walked
Mhm.
home that night just thinking about life. And then when I got back home to the apartment, I wrote 30 pages, Pamela, in 7 hours. I don't know how I did this.
Wow.
Saw the patterns of my whole life and was
Wow.
like, I need to heal. I remember looking in the mirror crying and like, I need to heal. I need to love myself. And I just bawled my eyes out. And the next thing, everything started happening. Had a radio show, worked with young people, done like, I don't know how I got to this point, but the universe had a plan. And
Yes.
even when I thought I'd done the work, 2015 came and unfortunately I was diagnosed with a health condition I didn't even know I was born with. It took
Wow.
2 years to be diagnosed that I was born with a kidney defect. My whole life didn't have a
Wow.
clue.
Wow.
And so, obviously, kidneys about fear. I had to do more deeper work. And in 7 years, I did the deepest work of my life.
Wow.
And, like you said, you clear, you start again, clear. And, the channels just got stronger. So, like, I
Mhm.
really understand what you're saying. And it's not like we're just sitting there, like, meditating. Like,
No, we're not sitting on our little pillow.
there are
Uh,
crying
Not that
moments
that's
there.
wrong, but it's tough work. Like,
Yes.
you know, there's there's people that, kind of surround me, and there's people in my world, and I think they think it's going to be instantaneous, but there's a journey, there's a struggle, there's a release, there's suffering. I was on someone's podcast, and they didn't like the word suffering, but I really think it's an important word. I think through the suffering is where the realization comes and the clearing and the healing comes. Like the suffering sort of is necessary, and suffering means something different to everyone. But like for me
Yeah.
with the husband, I was in my
Suffering.
office, curled in a ball
Yeah.
in the corner,
Hmm.
saying, I am afraid, crying to myself,
Hmm.
who I don't know. I am afraid to do this. I was like outside of myself watching. That's suffering. But
Yeah.
I had to do that. It was important because it gave me the resolve. It was a part of that experience that had to happen for me. And
Yeah.
you know, I think a lot of people label it differently or whatever, but through
Suffering
the
is
suffering,
pain.
it's pain. Through the pain comes the resolve.
Yeah.
Like, and this is the way the universe works. I mean, you have to have all sides of everything. That's that duality. That famous word
But the thing
that
is,
we love
like,
so much.
yeah, I was going to say, the thing is, we have happiness, we have sadness, we
Yeah,
have
you can't have one
grief,
without the other.
we have joy. And that is the journey of life. And the reason a lot of people
Hmm.
suffer is because they're just craving one thing, but they don't realize that life is not always going to be happy. There's going to
Right.
be sad times that we then have to go through to get back to the happy times.
Yeah.
It's a journey, not a, I don't know how to put it into words. Like,
Destination. Yeah.
yeah, but it's even more
Yeah.
like you can't constantly, oh my God, I'm happy every day, happy day, every day. Like something's going to
Right.
come up that day and you're going to have to feel those feelings. You can hide away from them, you can take something, but you need to face those. And that, the suffering is where we come back to ourselves, like dark and light,
Yes. How do
right?
you know what's dark and light if you don't have them? Like you have to understand them.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
I 100% understand what you're saying with the whole kind of suffering aspect. Like, I thought, oh yeah, I've done the work 2012. Yeah, it's fine. The kidney problem came. I was like, oh, had the operation. I figured it out. And I actually trusted my intuition. I actually saved my kidney. The
Wow.
consultants were telling me to remove it, and I didn't listen. The fifth consultant listened to me after talking to many, and my intuition said, save it. I don't know how
Wow.
I knew this, but my intuition said, save it. They said, we normally don't operate on this percentage that you have, but that he listened to me and he says, we'll leave the rest in God's hands. And I was like, okay, sounds different to what I've heard before.
You're like, that sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
Yeah. Just on the back end, I didn't know I ended up having kidney disease because there was so much fluid from many years. But again, that was a
Hmm.
journey. Again, I had to clear a lot of things. I've actually now reversed
Yes.
it. But
Wow.
yeah, that's a whole story.
Wow.
But again, in that journey, there was so much clearing happening, even though there was so much suffering. I remember
Yeah.
thinking, will this stop? Like, will I be able to
Yes.
like travel and do all the things I used to love? But I had to learn certain things. Like I actually say it's my biggest gift because if I
Yeah.
didn't have that, I wouldn't have slowed down. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have
Yeah.
learned to trust myself. I wouldn't have
Absolutely.
done the deeper work. So kind of like yourself, like you had to go through those dark nights of the soul to come back home to yourself. And especially as women, right?
Yeah.
Women from such a young age have been taught not to know how to trust themselves. Listen to everyone else except
Right.
themselves. So of
Yeah.
course you're having this kind of like battle with yourself because who do I listen to? Or do I listen to myself? Do I listen to them? But your soul's telling you the way.
Hmm.
But everyone's
Hmm.
been telling you, no, no, we know better,
Hmm.
darling. Like, no,
Hmm.
no, no, no.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah. You got to listen to your, that's what my company's called. It's spirit calling. You're listening to your spirit calling. You're actually giving it a space to be able to be heard, to be listened to be answered. And then you live it. That's the whole process. You live it. And that's the before and after. Like you're living that, it's a way of being. You choose to live your life in a completely different way. And that's with your spirit first. It's a beautiful exchange too, because that's the final part of the trust. You're trusting, that higher guidance, but you're also knowing that you're held, you're taken care of,
Hmm.
that you have a relationship with the universe, with all that is, with your higher aspects of yourself. You have a different you function a completely different way. I was trying to explain this to somebody about like my former business and then this business. It functions a completely different way. Like it's constantly, it has to be fluid, because it's not just, the same kind of create the strategic plan, measure the plan throughout the year. There's parts of that, of course, but there's you're pivoting by every decision that you make. You're pivoting by every interaction that you have, and so you're opening up doorways and pathways, and things are happening, and you have to also allow universe to do its magic. And when I said I'm suffering now, I am suffering now because I'm trying to release a
Hmm.
lot of fear, and they just gave me a talking to right before this. That's why my grandmother came in. But it's like release the fear, let go, ease
Hmm.
your mind, free the mind to allow everything to come to you because it's already there. They've already been conspiring and pushing all these pieces on that board in different ways I am not privy to,
Yeah.
and that does happen in the other business. That certainly does, but it's just a different way of working. And so you bring that to your professional life, your personal life, your everything, your relationships. You have
Hmm.
to sit in a space when you're really in a complete and honest, authentic. an open, loving relationship, to be able to look at each other's wounds, to be able to hold deep, deep space, to be the mirrors for each other, because you are. That just is inevitably what happens. You become, this is the pain that you have, and that's the biggest trigger that I have. And this is the, you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
are, you, you are doing that in real time. And, but the thing is, you choose to. Like you came down, my friend and I were joking yesterday. She has, a lot of things with her physical body that she was born with. And so we were joking. We were saying, yeah, we were like, get on that slide down to planet Earth and be like, yeah. And you sure you want this? Is this, you sure you want this? This is what you want for your experience? Yes, yes, yes. I'm ready to go. I said I was ready. Like, just go down. It's like, I can't wait to learn, experience, grow, expand, have contrast, all the things. And that's what we did, you know? And I think the best is yet to come, though, Guards. Like, I feel like this, and I know that the world's about to shift. That's one of the big messages for this month. You caught me on a very big message month for the council. Very big message month. The world is about to shift in a big way.
Yeah.
And, you know, those of us who have been, it's shifting, it is actively shifting, but there's a big
Mm.
shift coming. This in the next, I mean, it could be tomorrow. I don't know. I heard June 3rd, way back in February. So I don't know what June 3rd will be. It might be
Ooh.
something just for me. I don't know. But you with that shift, we get to, make choices. Um, we've been discovering ourselves. We've been learning about ourselves and other spaces and this space. And we have opened ourselves up to all kinds of information. And we know, but there's a lot of people that don't and haven't. So your community that listens to you is, they're actively pulling on their spirit. They're actively, discovering themselves, and by listening to you and me right now, but in other spaces, because that's the experience. They're wanting to do that, but there are others in our world that are not doing that. So it's a different experience for them. That's that shift. That's that, also that greater duality that comes into play, right?
Yeah.
We're holding space for this shift of planet Earth that's moving into this new Earth energy, which is like so exciting. So you're doing a lot of work just by listening to this podcast and taking in these concepts and allowing yourself to reflect and reveal new things to you. The guides talk about how that energy, when you shift and expand inside of you, it ricochets out into the universe. It supports the expansion for everyone. Like it's very cool. There's so many concepts to learn. There's so much remembering to happen.
Yeah.
There's so much remembering to happen.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it's interesting you're saying about June the 3rd, because I was in Mexico in January and I was at this retreat, and there was like a storm brewing. And I turned around to one of the ladies and said, there's a revolution about to start. I don't know why I'm saying this. And
Yeah.
literally everything started happening that weekend. And I was like, oh my God. And I
Yeah.
definitely felt like the energy of this year is shifting so much. We're also in the year of the horse, the fire energy,
Yeah.
everything is accelerating more, even the healings more than ever
Yes.
before.
Oh my
It's a
God.
whole new
Incredible.
level of energy. And like I remember feeling like midway there's going to be a whole shift. And I think that's what maybe you're talking about. I guess we'll find out tomorrow.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you
For
know,
sure. Well, if it's not tomorrow, then it's most definitely, timelines are always shifting and moving, and they're just moving all the time. But definitely, I have felt since the beginning of this year that the midpoint of this year, that's June, July, like it's definitely going to be a shift. And there has been. You're absolutely right. That's my predictions video that I put out with the council's message in January talked about that, and it immediately it started, but it's all necessary, and we all know it, and we've been moving through it. We've been watching everything elevate, or sorry, escalate. We've been watching everything expand, open up. We've been watching the world change, and you know it's it's not something to be fearful of. When I put these messages out like I did yesterday, people get so excited. They're like, I'm here for it. I'm ready. I can't wait. Da, da, da. They're ready. Like it's go time. They feel it's go time. And so that's who I'm talking about. So it's all for you
mm,
guys, that are listening. you understand that this is a necessary shift to bring more light, more higher frequency to the planet. But I find it fascinating to witness, and I also, am experiencing it at the same time. And you and I and others are supporting this wave of consciousness that's shifting and opening up. That's why healing is getting more profound. That's why everyone who's been doing this is stepping into the new version of themselves to support all these people who are waking up to channeling and to their gifts. That's inevitably what has to happen because we're moving into the new human, the new earth.
I feel like it's been happening though for a long time. Like
It has.
it, I think since 2012, like I've seen so many things like people ever like shift and like humanity has shift. Like I don't remember
Oh, yeah.
that many women having businesses online to like now. Like it's beautiful. I don't remember many people doing intuitive work until now. Like
Yeah.
it's grown so much in the last, yeah,
Yeah.
10, 20
Big
years.
time.
Like yeah.
Yeah. But the last, I think since 2020 and that giant shift happened, a lot of people started looking at their lives differently. A lot of
Yes.
people had shifts, but the planet's shifting its frequency. I've just seen it. I know you have too. I've seen it escalate just dramatically in
This year.
the last 3 years. Yeah. Yeah.
This shows another
Yeah.
level. Whereas since COVID, when COVID happened, that's when it just shifted a lot. I
Yeah.
could see it. People were like, I can't run away anymore. I have to face my
Yeah. I got
feelings
to
and do
face
the
it
work.
all. I got to
Yeah.
face my spouse that I can't stand to be with. I got to face my work. I got to face my kids. I got to face my life. I got to face my addiction. I got to face everything.
Yeah.
It was all there because people had space and time to do it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we are coming towards the end of the show. It's
Yeah.
gone so fast.
I went
And
fast. Yeah.
yeah, what are your five top tips for someone who wants to trust their soul's calling, but they don't really know where to start?
Oh, that's such a good question. Um, if you have a desire, all you have to do is ask. So if you're not asking, that's a really great place to start. So I would close your eyes and I would just take a deep breath and feel your presence within yourself. Give yourself the gift of doing that. And then drop your presence down into your heart and feel that warmth, feel that love, and say to your guide, your team, maybe you haven't met them, maybe you don't talk to them. It's imperative that you start a relationship with them and ask them to start to support you in the journey of expanding more, uncovering more, learning more in your spiritual development. And I'll tell you right now that your wish will be answered. That intention will be received and supported. You merely need to ask. You have an army of, of energy around you that want to support your life, to support your spiritual development and growth, to help you understand how powerful and beautiful you are, and how you are not small and limited to the conditions that are put upon you on this three-dimensional plane of existence, that you actually live in all time and space simultaneously all at once. I mean, that's how much of a badass you are. And to know that it makes you feel powerful. And so now start pulling upon the thread of learning more by asking.
Oh,
Yes. And one of the things that, I've been doing this since 2024, so it's only been a couple of years, but I've learned a lot along the way. When I launched my spiritual community, and I still am very active inside of it, I have lots of conversations with people, and a lot of people from all different walks of life, from all different parts of their journey come and they say the same thing. Like, I want to learn, I want to do this, I want to do that. It's you ask and whatever you need at the exact time you need it will be put in front of you. So to help people along, I created, it's a quiz. It's a spiritual assessment. And so it's on my website. You can go and do it, answer some of the questions. You'll get, an email in your inbox, and you might be somewhere that you didn't know that you were. You might be in a different place. You have no idea. But that is the beginning of the spiritual intelligence, right? Information to help you. And then that will kickstart What's the next step? The actions steps. What's my next step? And that with your team working in tandem, there you go. There's your answer. Don't be surprised when you start getting all this interaction now.
Bless you. And what are you most grateful for?
I think the ability to sit in a space of moving forward through fear to opportunity and love for whatever's there next. I've gained this fierce courage um, because of my knowing and seeing my relationship with the universe and spirit and my guides, how my life has changed. I'm just so grateful to be able to do this work that I never thought I would be able to do. I never thought I'd be able to leave marketing and branding and
Mm.
move into this full time. I have such gratitude for being able to do that and have the resources to maintain and live my life. But that's what I'm really grateful for right now, and for whatever is to come next, because it's coming, right? Whatever our deepest desire is, it's there. We just merely need to align with that. We have to align with it. And that's the not staying in fear. That's Esther Hicks always talks about, who was one of my first guides that I met through in this physical world in her videos. You're putting a signal out to the universe and Abraham, and you have to stay on the dial, the radio station, to
Mm.
receive that. If you're putting it out, you got to stay in that frequency. You got to stay out of fear in that frequency to be able to receive that transmission. So yeah, that's that's also a really good lesson too. But thank you so much for having me. It was really wonderful to share this space with you, and I hope your community, got some little pearls of wisdom or some nuggets that they can take with them.
Thank you. I was going to ask you one more question is what shines your inner light?
I guess helping other people. When I'm able to see people's lives change,
Mm.
which is what happens when I work on one on one, there's nothing better than that. They come into the container, not knowing what to expect. And neither do I, because I'm just a vessel holding space for whatever's supposed to be present. And to see like realizations happen, to see people change their life, to see them receive more love, to see them shift and change in their relationships, it brings me so much joy. I love
Mm.
it. I leave the calls. I lead a mastermind every month. I left the call. It's a Thursday night. I left the call like vibrating. I can't sleep. Like, it makes me so happy.
Mm.
It shines my light. It shines my light. It does. It makes me vibrate higher.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Pamela, for coming back home to yourself and doing the work that you do, because there's so many people out there that you are helping and evolving in a whole new world that we're living in now. So thank
Thank
you for doing
you.
what you do.
You're welcome. And if anybody wants to know more, my website is spirit-calling.com. And all my social channels are the same. They're at Spirit Calling Pamela. It's very easy to find me. So that's all I'll say. So I hope you can come and see what the council has to say.
Beautiful. We'll have them in the show notes below anyway. So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Great.
What an interesting conversation with Pamela. It's so true. When we clean and clear our energy and allow ourselves to truly trust from within, we are then able to channel what we need right now. If you're struggling to trust from within and you're looking for soul's guidance, do visit Pamela's work. Everything is in the show notes below. Unfortunately, that's the end of the show. Before I leave, I want to leave you with this quote. Listen to your soul. It's calling you towards the life that is meant for you. That's a quote by Renee A. Sauter. And check out my program, The Liberation Alchemy. It's a 4-month program to help you to liberate your mind, body, and spirit from all the patriarchal patterns that you have grown up with, and to really set you free so you can step into your power and your wisdom. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. And remember, stay happy, stay healthy, stay lit.